Oops, there we go. Video's recording. Audio's recording. And we got all our stuff lined up. All right, here we go. It starts in 3, 2, 1.
I gave up thick pads for maxi fins. I switched from thick pads to maxi fins. No more thick pads, it's maxi fins for me. An alternative to maxi pads. Maxi fins from Tampax.
Roses are red, violets are blue.
And she showed me her boobies, and I like them too.
This is the morning stream. It puts the lotion in the basket.
I don't know what happened to the music there. That was weird. It's back. It's back, everybody. Hey, whoa. What's going on with your weird Monday?
What are you doing?
I don't know what happened. That was weird. It was
What
supposed
are
to
you
be.
doing?
It was
What's
supposed to be
going
fun.
on?
Everything went to hell there for a second. Anyway, hey, everybody. Welcome back to the show. It's Tuesday, is it? Yeah.
Is it Tuesday?
Yeah, it's Tuesday. It says right up here at the top of my screen, June. It says 2 Jun 2, which means it's June 2nd. Yeah, June 2nd, Tuesday, 2020. I'm Scott. He's Brian. Hi, Brian.
Hi. Hello.
All right, so weird morning. A lot of weird stuff going on. Also, that intro kind of got broken, but hey, we're gonna carry forward and keep moving here. I have some good news in the sea of bad news out there. We've certainly got our share of weird, bad news here in the United States. But I have to say, Utah did okay last night because we were freaking out a little bit. It was a few thousand people started coagulating once again right around the curfew. And we got a buzz at about, I don't remember, 6 or something that said, statewide curfew for 6 days, 8 p.m., this whole thing. And so... we got that and we thought, oh no. And so I started tuning into what was going on. And there was a whole bunch of people gathering and walking through the city. And they were doing so peacefully. And cops were just sort of watching, whatever, no big deal. But they were all headed to the state capitol, which Saturday was a huge mess. And they defaced a bunch of stuff. And there was some, big time arrests and all kinds of problems. Saturday was a problem. So we were thinking, 2,000 people or more headed up to the Capitol. This is going to be bad. They get up there. There are a fair number of cops in riot gear up there waiting for them. There's some National Guard truck stuff and some National Guard people with guns and things like that. Protesters get up there. Again, totally peaceful. They have some chants and stuff and signs, but they're not doing anything crazy. There's definitely not kids running up there and just chucking stuff or breaking things or none of that was going on. And then it looked like a bit of a standoff. So there was some shouting. It started to get really loud. The cops are now kind of squared off. The entirety of the procession of protesters, thousands of them, are on the other side. And now there's this intersection between them. And it looks like, stuff's about to go down. Instead, what happens is the chief of whatever, who's ever in charge there, meets with the guy one of the chief organizers of the rally of the protest. They meet in the middle, and they talk for a second. And basically, he says, "We're here to do it right. We're not here to even ruin. We're here to get out of here for curfew, even. But we just want to be here. We want to make our statement, and then we're going to all go home. Will you let us do that?" And the cop said, the chief guy says yes. Or as best we could tell, he said yes. So this organizer turns around with his megaphone and goes, "All right, we've come to do what we came to do. We're doing it again tomorrow, but it's time to disperse. Let's go. Blah blah blah. We're all gonna leave right now, and they're gonna let us leave." And then they're all starting to try to leave, and it looks like everything's been de-escalated and everything's cool, but the cops aren't letting them leave. They're weirdly, they're all kind of just holding the ground in the kind of circle that they've now got them in. And the guy with the microphone's like, "Can I talk to whoever's in charge again? We're trying to just leave now. We're all trying to go home." And they finally get the dude over there. And he finally lets them break it up and everybody get out of there. Did I lose you?
Great.
Oh, you are here. Never mind.
I'm here.
I thought you left. I couldn't hear you. You were so quiet. I thought I was all muted.
Oh, I was just letting you tell the story. I didn't want to interrupt.
No, it's all good.
It's certainly different from well, obviously different from what we've seen the last few nights. Things seem to be more mellow here in Colorado as well. There was a kind of the same thing where the protesters ended and then just kind of dispersed and went home.
Yeah.
And instead of like the looters and rioters kind of sticking around from there, some of them showed up later in the night to do stuff, but even that was pretty well handled.
Pretty subdued.
Yeah, it wasn't like the same kind of thing where everybody shows up, the peaceful protesters go home, the looters go crazy. It was the protesters showed up, protested, left at the curfew, and then just a few stragglers went out late at night and said, "Oh, let's rip crap up."
Oh, great. Yeah, you got to watch out for those guys. Yeah,
Yes.
so it all ended pretty peacefully. The police were pretty good at the de-escalation. The people there were super respectful. Their whole point was, look, Saturday wasn't us. We don't know how that got out of hand, but we want to do this right, so now we're doing it right. And they plan on doing it again today. And to me, that felt like the right thing. It felt good, and it kept everything on message, and that's as important to them as it is everybody else. And despite all the other poop shows that were happening across the states yesterday, there were quite a few messy bits, real bad stuff going down. We did okay here. So Salt Lake City back to being polite. I guess. I don't know what we are here. But
Yeah, I mean, polite.
yeah. We have a reputation for not stirring too much of the pot, but last night we gently stirred the pot.
Right.
And did so with
You jostled the pot.
Did so within the constitutional confines of people's rights and all of that. No cop shot rubber bullets in anyone's face point blank like was happening in other places. So yeah, it was all right. And I think that there's, the mayor took some pride in how the police behaved, and I think they probably can rightfully do that because they did handle this differently than I'm seeing in other places. So anyway, it was good. And I hope everybody out there is all right. I know our friend Jenny Josephson, her very street was the site of some pretty gnarly stuff last night.
Oh God.
Yeah.
That's got to be so scary because you obviously got to worry about your property. You got to worry about like if you have a car parked on the road on the street, is that going to go nuts? I mean, it's
right. You never. Oh man, if you're curb parking,
yeah, exactly.
I would not want my car.
You just know that, like, all right, the first few people are just going to kind of be like, all right, we're going forward, let's move this way, and there's going to be like, this car, I'm mad.
Yeah. I mean, that's what you think, or that's what you should worry
side
about.
window pisses me off.
Totally. So, yeah, I mean, for
all of a sudden it's Perry Farrell in the.
Yeah, I was gonna say, take a dump in your tub.
Exactly.
There's one thing I was gonna say. So down near the library, there has been this sculpture there near the. I don't know if it's near the big police station there, or what it is, but it was a sculpture. It's basically meant to be a symbol of the helping hands of the police, and they're these gigantic bronze hand sculptures that are just laying out in the middle of this courtyard that are just kind of outlaid, and there's a plaque and it talks
like
about
my arm, like kind of like the Allstate hands.
A little
right?
bit, except they're not together. They're like a little further apart. I think if they were together, they may have really been accused of looking like Allstate.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So they have them separated, and it's a very cool thing. You can get pictures by it and all that sort of stuff. You can always tell where people touch it because it's all. That part of the bronze is all looks like
buffed.
Yeah, it's all buffed
right.
Looks like brass or whatever.
Yes.
Anyway,
it's like Caesar's left boob at Caesar's palace.
Yeah, basically.
I want some luck.
Wait, did people do that? Was that a thing? Is that a thing people
did? People rub him, but yeah, not as left boob.
Not as vigorously as you just expressed.
Not as vigorously.
Okay, fair enough. Anyway, I'm trying to find the image so I can show the chat room. Here it is, and I'll show you as well, obviously. So these are those hands. They went and did a little bit of symbolic messing about here.
Oh, geez.
So they basically took those. If you click on them separately, you can see how the hands look normally. They're just outstretched. And then if you look at the updated image, after the vandalism, somebody filled them with red paint that looks like blood. Basically a symbol that, hey, there's a lot of blood on police hands today. And I thought, if you're going to deface something, that's a pretty poignant defacement. You know what I mean? Like, you could have done worse. So anyway, I just knew, and I didn't say this the other day, but I just knew if this stuff was going to spread and get worse, those hands were screwed. I just knew it. Yeah. Because, who was going to let that
and hopefully
happen?
That's something. I mean, you look at the stuff that's like spray paint on concrete, and it's like, oh man, how are they going to get that off?
Yeah.
But probably paint off of those bronze hands, like you think paint thinner or something like that, probably will.
Yeah. It's probably just like acrylic anyway, so probably just a good pressure washer. Yeah, it might just peel off. Sure. Who knows?
Right.
Paint peel off. Yum. Anyway, that was a thing that I wanted to mention. Hey, we got an email. We talked a while back about somebody was claiming that I scare the old people or something like that.
Oh, sure, show. Yes. I think it was your Wikipedia article claimed that that it's Scott versus the elderly.
Yeah, I'm just riling up the old people. And,
I think they pulled me into that too, which, it's a laugh.
Sure.
It's a laugh.
We got an email from Brian Curetti from Hanover, Ontario, Canada. Another Brian in our lives.
Because you can never have too many.
Well... No, I actually agree. I actually agree.
I've probably met him at one of the Brian conventions. We'll have to see.
Yeah, those Brian. Oh man, what are you guys gonna do? The COVID has really stopped those dead in their tracks. You gotta.
That's right. You spell it with a Y? No, you gotta stay home. No, you have your own convention.
Oh, the infighting with the Bryans over the Y's and the I's.
Bryans, yes, actually, that's one of the seminars. Spell it with an I or spell it with a Y.
Wow.
1 hour in the Evergreen Room.
Man. Remind me to go. Will they allow people that aren't Bryans to go? Can we see your world from the outside?
Oh, no.
No?
Oh, no. Okay. No. Come on now.
Now, what if someone's named Byron? Does he get a pass?
Nope. Byrons have their own convention.
All right. That's a really small one.
We keep getting dyslexic doctors, too. Is this the brain convention? Torek, I kind of piggybacked on your joke.
Yeah. You kind of did, but you took that material and enhanced it. You did a better.
I did.
Better delivery. Exactly. Nice job. Okay.
So points to Torek, but yeah.
No, only a few. All right. Anyway, this emailer says, just want to let you know that another old fart listens to TMS on a daily basis, or as he wrote, a diary basis, but he meant daily.
No, he wrote a dairy basis.
Yeah, or a dairy. Yeah, not even diary. Yes. I am not a gamer or techie, but Scott and Brian bring much needed lift to my day. By the way, I just turned 70 and have been listening since 2015. Well, thank you for being here. I'm glad I haven't scared you. That's good.
That's right.
Don't want to scare old Brian.
We're happy to have you.
Yeah, we are very happy to have you.
By the way, when we were going over to hospice, so the days that we were visiting, there was always the same lady working the front, and she basically had to fill out a form for each visitor,
right,
and get our name and our phone number, and then use a little a touchless thermometer to scan our foreheads and check our temperature, right? A little thermometer deal.
Yeah.
And so I'd watch her filling out this form because she was very slow and methodical about it. And she said, "Okay, what's your name?" I said, "Brian." It's Brian, and every single time, Brain. Brain. Okay. Your last name? Ibbott, Ibbott. Okay, Ibbtto.
Ibito.
Like, all right. Ibto. Anyway,
that's amazing.
Just everything was like, it doesn't really matter.
Were they letting a resident do it? Was that what was going on there?
No, she was just an employee there working the front table, and she always had her phone face down, listening to some screamy YouTube thing. Well, it wasn't always face down; it was face up at one point, and that's how I could tell it was just like some YouTube thing that she was watching. And she didn't pause it when we'd come in; she'd let it keep going. But the second day, she flipped it upside down so that the screen was face down.
Was it like screamo music kind of thing or something when you say scream?
No. I'm sorry. Like it was a guy yelling.
Oh, weird.
Like it was on the street footage of some guy.
Some from the protests or something.
Not even from the protests.
Oh
no, because it's just like
weird.
Like, now I'm gonna go over here. Like it was the video, as far as I know, wasn't Alex Jones. It was just some guy walking around the street and he was yelling at people and cars and stuff like that. A solo lone dude has his own YouTube channel.
Yes, it was jury.
I didn't feel like asking for what YouTube channel is that, so I can smash the like and subscribe button.
Yeah, can you airdrop that to me? I'd like to check that out.
Exactly.
Well, that's hilarious. What a weird thing. But I don't know. Maybe you should change the way you spell your last name. I don't know.
Maybe, and definitely not Billy on the Street. That I would have recognized.
Billy. Oh,
I'll give you $1 if you can tell me what's wrong with Meryl Streep.
All your impressions sound like Jury on the Street.
They kind of do, yeah, exactly. Definitely not Billy on the Street. I mean, this was like not a professionally produced show.
But wait, she wouldn't pause it? She would just put it on its face and then let it go?
Yeah. The first day, she didn't even flip the phone over. She just left it sitting on the table face up, and that's how I saw that it was just some guy walking around the streets yelling. And then the second day we were there, it seemed like the same damn video. She just had it flipped over face down when we came in.
Okay. Well, I'm under the impression that maybe she has a lack of focus, and that's why she wasn't sure about your name, because she was trying to do too many things at once, like keep her video going while she's helping you, which is a weird combination. But hey, she's surrounded by potential death all day. Maybe she just wants to.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever her release is, I'm certainly not gonna.
Yeah.
Not gonna poop on her parade.
Totally fine. We got this next one from the same method. Somebody went to the website. They sent us a message, and this one's from NZ Nick, which one would assume is New Zealand Nick.
That's what I would assume, yeah.
Yeah. He says this. The subject is the Kathy Bates dream. And the message is this: Scott, I love hearing your messed up dreams. What a rich life you must lead. Well, I don't know about rich, but life. I lead a life. It says, my kids have been watching the Costume Quest animated series on Amazon Prime lately. I've been meaning to check that out, actually. It's based on that video game. The video game's pretty good. Okay. So I was curious how an animated series would be. But anyway, and when you were describing fishing for Kathy Bates, it made me think of a crossover where the kids wear costumes made of Kathy Bates and gain superpowers based on her. What powers do they gain from Kathy Bates? Overbearing mother or sledgehammer to break ankles? Well, those are our only choices. Probably overbearing mother, but let's go. We can
probably overbearing mother, but her what do they call what is the Tick's spoon? It's his rallying cry, right?
Oh, right.
So Kathy Bates's would definitely be Tawanda.
Oh, that's good.
Except now I said it like Tarunda.
Yeah, you did. Tarunda. You sound like freaking. Well, I can't think of his name. Hold on, Malfurion. That's it. Sure. Yeah, all the
I
story.
call him Tree Man.
He's Tree Prophet. We love the Tree Prophet. So okay, here's the other power I'd give her. I'd give her hot tub flapjack boobs. That'd be one power. What else? Saw something with her in it recently. What was it?
It was like she was the mother of Richard Jewell in the movie Richard Jewell.
Oh, that's what I'm thinking of. How was she in that?
That's overbearing mother. She was really good in that. Yeah. Actually, she wasn't really that overbearing. I mean, she was just like a protective mom of her son who did a great thing and kind of got the shaft for it because he wasn't as quick on the uptake to be able to defend himself as most people, and so.
Meant to see that, didn't see it.
It was good. The dude who they got to play Richard Jewell was amazing. Yeah. Like you look at old footage and it's like they found his twin. Yeah, it was really, really good.
It's it's a thing I meant to follow up on.
I'm sure is streaming somewhere. Yeah,
maybe.
No,
maybe. I don't know. There's a new streaming service every other day. It's probably somewhere, right?
Yeah, kind of is. Looks like no, it is not streaming anywhere just yet.
What did he?
Oh, yeah, Sam Rockwell's great in that.
What was his? Let me see. Some serious medical problems related to diabetes. Oh, okay. I couldn't remember why he died so early. He was only 44 when he died. Mm. Did they get into that in the movie? Did they cover like his full life all the way to 07 or no?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. That was kind of a postscript at the end talking about and showing, actual. I love when they do that, when they do a biopic, and they show the actual people in still frames at the end or video or something. It's like, okay, yeah, the actor they got to play that dude was really good.
Yeah, they really I like when they do that. Bring stuff home. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very good. By the way, I know I've already done it as a recommendal, but I have continued every week to make sure and watch that Ruffalo show. This
Oh, yeah.
I know is
I know
this
this
much
to
I
be
know
true.
is true, or I know this to be true.
Something like that. I know this much.
I still
really
don't get it right. I'm watching it and I still don't
Yeah.
get it right. So I don't know.
I know.
what
I'm
the
not
deal is.
watching it, so you have
Man.
you have less of an excuse than I do.
He is unbelievably good. You're going to end up having to watch that show. I'm going to make a stand
Oh
right
yeah,
now.
no, it is absolutely on the list.
I think there's only
But
like
this is
one
one
or
where
two
we're
left.
waiting for all the episodes to be available.
Yeah, and it'll be soon. I think there's
Right
6.
now we're
Yeah.
knee deep in Killing Eve because the finale was Sunday. So it's like, okay, we know it's all there. We're gonna binge right through it.
Season finale or series finale?
Season finale.
Oh, okay, good, because I want that to go
Season
longer.
3.
I like that show.
It's really good. Yeah.
But for real, I think that Ruffalo acting is the best performance of anyone anywhere right now. I don't know anything better than this. It's just this much I know is true. Ruffalo is really good in this, and is not just playing typical Ruffalo, which is kind of affable, quiet guy deal. It's not that. It's something totally different. It's freaking unbelievable. I can't say enough about that thing. All right. Hey, how about the news? What do you say to that?
I don't read the news.
Oh, good. Well, we do it for you.
In the News is sponsored by Nabisco. You'll find quality in our corner.
All right. Let's do the news brought to you by.
Brought to you by Soundography, which will be posted later today. On this episode, Hammond and I go through the entire library of a guy who recorded the first compact disc I ever owned.
Whoa.
Basically went to the store, got this is for my birthday. My dad took me to the store. We bought a compact disc player, and then we drove to Recycle Records and bought me a compact disc. And he says, pick anyone you want. And I said, I want Howard Jones' Dream into Action.
Nice.
So
nice.
that was my first disc. So Howard Jones, we're listening to his whole catalog, which the dude has been cranking out music nonstop even ever since the 80s and 90s heyday. Still putting out great stuff. And we go through all of it. Soundography.com. That episode will go up later today.
I look a little like Howard Jones does now.
You do. Yeah, you totally do.
Like that little puffed up front of the hair
Mm-hmm.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he and I have gone a similar hair direction from his old days. Oh, yeah, he's got a brand new album. Look at that.
He does. Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he's cool.
He's only done a handful of covers. I got to interview him years and years and years ago, and found out that he doesn't mind doing covers, and he doesn't mind bands doing covers of his own music, but he will only choose covers where the song fits his personal mindset. So in other words, he's not going to do a cover of F the Police, right? Or I Kissed a Girl and I Liked It or something like that. Well, I might do that one. But I mean, it's basically he's got to believe in the meaning behind the song.
Interesting. That's an interesting thing to do. Never
Yeah.
really heard of that before.
Mm-hmm.
Man, when you click his website, a whole bunch of other things open. It's kind of weird.
Oh no, does he have a bunch of pop-up windows?
It's not like hacky or anything. It's just like new tabs, and I don't know. It's weird. It's weird when I went to look for his name. But anyway, well done, Howard Jones.
Yeah.
Check out that episode
Yeah.
of Soundography wherever you get your podcasts. That'll be today, right? You said, yeah.
That'll be today.
All right. Peter sent this in. Peter S. Sent this in. Says a $350 anti-5G device that was supposed to stop the coronavirus from being transmitted through 5G towers.
Okay.
You knew these people existed, right? Heard of these 5G conspiracy people? You
Yeah,
heard this?
that I'd heard about. Yes, I knew
Okay.
that people thought that 5G it's causing the frogs to turn gay and giving us all the corona.
Yeah, basically along those lines is what people think. Turns out this device that was being marketed as a $350 solution to that. If you kept this USB device plugged into things and with you, it would block the 5G signals from the towers. Turns out to be nothing more than a 128 megabyte USB stick, according to a teardown over there at CNET.
Oh, that's even better. I love the fact that it's not only just a USB stick, but like the one of the worst ones you can get.
Right,
with
like crappy megabyte storage on it.
1980 or 95 technology.
Yeah, 128 meg. Nobody. What are you going to use that for in today's world? Megabytes, not gigabytes. Megabytes.
Right, megabytes.
Believers in 5G conspiracy theories have apparently been buying $350 anti-USB sticks that are not that. As noted by the BBC today, the 5G BioShield, it's called, was recommended by a member of the Glastonbury Town Council's 5G Advisory Committee, which has called for an inquiry into the 5G. The company that sells 5G BioShield claims it is the result of the most advanced technology currently available for balancing and prevention of the devastating effects caused by non-natural electronic waves, partially but not limited to 5G, for all biological life forms. That's a quote from their website. A fool and his money are quickly parted. That's what,
for sure.
What we're seeing here. Product's website charges about 283 pounds. That's about $350 US for one of those. They say this is what you need for protection for your home and family, thanks to the wearable holographic nanolayer catalyzer.
There's 5 words you can just jam together.
Yep. Which can be worn or placed near a smartphone or any other electrical radiation or EMF emitting device.
Coincidentally, EMF's Unbelievable album is on the 128 megabyte.
Well, part of it is because it's,
it's like the first half of it. Yes.
Yeah. 128K. It's not fitting in there very well. Let's see. This is more of it. The 5G BioShield makes it possible, thanks to a uniquely applied process of quantum nanolayer technology, to balance the imbalanced electrical oscillations arising from all electric fog induced by all devices such as laptops, cordless phones, WLAN or WLANs.
WLAN, yeah.
What's a WLAN? What does that mean?
A wired local area network?
Is that what that is?
I guess.
I thought local area network
wireless
is always wired, isn't it? A wireless LAN?
Maybe a wireless local area network? I don't know. Wireless LAN. Okay, yes, the Stoic Squirrel confirms. Wireless local area network.
So how do you say it, though? Do you say...
LAN?
Because LAN's easy, and you understand it. Or wide area network, you'd say WAN. But,
right. LAN, WAN.
But when you say...
I guess people say WLAN.
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 It sounds like you're saying
WLAN.
WLAND, which is like a George Bush fun town.
It's a
place.
theme park.
Yeah. I want to ride the I want to ride the Bush. Never mind. I'm not going to ride the Bush. Moving on.
Come check out the mission accomplished Ferris wheel.
Try to dodge a shoe in the room with the
down the midway. Or ride the Decider.
Enjoy some oatmeal with Barbara Bush's face on it. I'm just kidding. That's terrible. She is not the oatmeal lady. Okay, or
make it your strategery for fun.
There you go, strategery land. Anyway, where was I? Oh, okay. So this is all bullcrap. The company says adding the USB stick brings balance into the field at the atomic and cellular level, restoring balanced effects to all harmful ionized and non-ionized radiation. USB stick does not need to be plugged into anything to work its magic, they say.
Wow.
Interesting.
Amazing.
Yeah. They said that's because they use quantum nano-layering technology.
Sure, of course.
Anyway, they tore it apart. It's none of that. It's a USB stick that I don't even think you can buy these very easily. Maybe in Japan or in bulk or on Alibaba or something. Mm-hmm. But it's hard to get one that small anymore. And literally, it's all it is. So it's probably worth less than $10.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably more valuable as something you take apart and use the USB part of it for something else.
Yeah. And people bought them. Dumbasses, you idiots. I don't have a problem calling you people that. I really don't. Like, if you come to me and you say, I like Star Wars or I hate Star Wars, I'm like, all right, well, I can listen to your points of view and I can see how this is subjective. This isn't subjective, and
if you're spending $350 of your hard-earned money on a wearable holographic nanolayer catalyzer.
Oh my gosh, you may as well just put Star Trek technobabble in there,
Exactly.
I'm glad you lost your $350. I'm glad that money's not in your hands anymore. You dummies. Yeah. You are dummies. Okay?
But I'm sad that it's in the hands of these other people. That's
Yeah, I don't like that either. Hopefully not too many, and then it stopped. I don't know.
Who
knows? Here's a great story that's got nothing to do with rioting or disease. or the state of the world right now. Here it is. A man breaks into a California bank to heat up a Hot Pocket, got arrested, and said it was worth it.
Was this Jimmy Gaffigan? Oh, no, it's Brian Regan that does the Hot Pocket thing,
yeah,
right?
No, that's Gaffigan. You're right. It's Gaffigan.
It is Gaffigan. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hot Pockets.
Hot Pocket.
Pockets. Yeah. Anyway, it says police say a man broke into a bank in California just to heat up his Hot Pocket in a microwave. Police were called to the Wells Fargo Bank in San Diego early on Wednesday morning. When they arrived, they found a broken window near the bank's drive-thru. An alarm company reported surveillance cameras caught a man inside who broke in using the microwave. When the man was arrested, officers say that he told them why he was there. Here's what the reporter said. You did that for a Hot Pocket? The man says, yes, all that for a Hot Pocket. The reporter said, you broke into a bank for a Hot Pocket. Man says, Hot Pocket, Hot Pocket. This is so good. The reporter says, was it worth it? Hell yeah, it was worth it. Bleep, yes, it was worth it. A Hot Pocket. Hell yeah. I think he's got issues.
Please tell me this video on their site. Oh, yeah.
Oh, did they show it? Did they show it? No way.
Yeah.
Do they
and his
really?
pants are half down, too.
Well, goes with the territory. Here, let me look at this. I got to show this.
Yeah, you pull up the video.
Yeah.
I'm not getting audio, though.
Oh, there's no audio?
Not getting audio at all. Maybe you get it.
Is it this video at the top?
It's the video on the side. Yeah.
Let me see if I get video or audio. No, I don't either. That's weird. The audio's turned up all the way, and I don't have it muted, so
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
But you definitely see his pants half down.
Yeah, I want to see him in the place.
Oh.
I'm still not
Hot Pocket?
Oh,
33
You did that for a
30
hot-
seconds. There we go.
Okay, here we go.
You did that for a Hot Pocket?
Yes. All that for a Hot Pocket.
You broke into a bank for a Hot Pocket.
Hot Pocket. For a Hot Pocket.
Was it worth it?
Hell yeah, it's worth it. Yeah, it's worth it. A Hot Pocket? Hell yeah.
Okay, at some point, somebody does the Hot Pocket.
They do this song, and he does it too. Like, they don't say that in this transcript.
No, that's the best part.
His second saying of the word, when he says Hot Pocket, he says Hot Pocket,
Yeah.
and then someone else with him goes, Hot Pocket. And also the emphasis of, like, a Hot Pocket. Hell yeah.
Hell yes, a Hot Pocket. Come on, you're crazy if you don't understand my love for Hot Pockets.
I don't know about Hot Pockets. Every Hot Pocket I ever ate, I felt bad about after I ate it. So
Did he take his own Hot Pocket with him, or did he go in the break room and take somebody's Hot
I
Pocket?
don't know.
Because that's even better. Like rummaging through the fridge. Here's Karen's leftover Mushu. Here's half of a Subway sandwich marked Fred. Ah, look at that Hot Pocket.
half a Subway sandwich marked Fred. That's not a title submission. The chat room's doing it wrong. Yeah, he neither took Hot Pockets nor left Hot Pockets. I don't know how he got them. I don't know what he did. They don't get into that. I would love to know that. Did he bring it with him? Was it frozen? Was it on his person for a long time? Did he?
There are more questions than answers.
Yeah, big time. I want a whole 5-part HBO miniseries about that. I really do.
Especially with that FBI agent.
Yeah.
Agent Doug.
Agent Doug. Oh, get
Agent
Agent Doug. Get him signed up for whatever you want to do. He's great. He's the best.
I sat in that meeting for so long, I got hungry 3 times
That guy was
for
so
Hot
good.
Pockets.
I love that guy. So my wife, just for some reason, opened my office door, just peeked her head in and looked at me concerningly, and then went away. I don't know what that was about. She didn't say, so hopefully
Well,
everything's
it's
fine.
Sunday. We usually don't do TMS these days. but,
Oh, that's why. Shoot. She's confused about the day. All right. A Texas jail is claiming a guard did not notice an inmate giving birth in a jail cell. See,
Okay.
Look at all these stories, man. No COVID, no riots.
Yeah.
Man, proud of ourselves today.
That seems like a really poorly written headline.
Yeah.
Texas jail says guards didn't notice inmate giving birth.
Yeah.
Maybe it should be like Texas inmate gives birth in jail.
Comma,
Guards don't notice.
Yeah.
Unbeknownst to guards.
Yeah. Unbeknownst to guards, inmate gives birth. That kind of works too. It's not a great headline. You're right. I totally agree. The LancasterOnline.com. I assume this is some Lancaster news. I don't know. You maybe even been there. Did you do an installation there?
I don't think I've done. I've been to Lancaster, Pennsylvania for an installation, but not. It's got to be a Texas, right?
Yeah,
Because this feels like a locally written.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Well, LNP, totally. I remember that logo because I used to have to do all the logos.
I bet you went
clean
there.
them up and turn them into PNGs and stuff.
Yeah.
But Lancaster, yeah, okay, that is the Lancaster, Pennsylvania. They just happen to be covering.
Oh, it's Pennsylvania. Okay.
It is, yeah, but it's a Texas prison, but it's a Lancaster, Pennsylvania newspaper reporting on it.
Yes.
Because there's nothing going on to report on.
Yeah, there's nothing going on right now.
Nothing going on.
What's out there in the news? It's like, what's her name this morning? Let's see if I have it in front of me here. Isabel.
Oh, yeah.
I have two things to say about Isabel.
Yeah.
First thing is, as I pointed out on Twitter, her message today was, "There's no news today that I can think of. It's only Tuesday, so be sure to pace yourselves. Don't overdo it." I'm like, really, Isabel? You're gonna be that on the nose with like the opposite day? Anyway, so there's that. And then the other thing I noticed is I was trying to make sure I had her name spelled right, so I did a quick search for her name being spelled right.
Sure.
And I got this message back. Or I got here, Chad, I can show you in the thing. And I can show you in Discord.
This is what, you searched on Google for the spelling of Isabel's name?
On DuckDuckGo. Sometimes I'll just do that.
Oh, yeah.
If I need to find it out. And it says, my first two results were Isabel Animal Crossing Wiki on fandom.com. Makes sense. No big deal. Very next
please
one.
tell me there's like lore. There's like...
there's all that stuff. Yeah.
Well, with the fanfic of her and Tom Nook and what they do when you're not in the resident services center.
Well, then let me point your eyes to the second result.
Oh, no. Maybe I should have. I spoke too soon.
Which is Isabel Animal Crossing porn videos on Pornhub.com, which I did not go to and have no desire to know what that's about. But, whew.
Yeah,
that was a fun.
Wait till you hear what her message is Wednesday morning.
Not interested in any of that.
Woo, boy.
Anyway, so this lady, she's a woman. She managed to go into labor and give birth alone in a Texas jail cell, which is pretty sad, without any corrections officers noticing. I mean, would they hire the guys that were supposed to watch Jeffrey Epstein? What the hell is this about?
Yeah, really.
They didn't notice until after she delivered the child. The woman had the baby in Fort Worth jail cell on May 17th, so it's been a bit. According to Tarrant County Sheriff's Office spokesman Lieutenant Jennifer Gabbert. The woman did not immediately disclose the birth, but the baby was soon discovered by a corrections officer, and both were taken to a hospital. She could not immediately provide information about the health of the mother or the baby. Jail staff knew the woman was pregnant and had been checking her regularly. But then, I guess, the one time they didn't look, she actually had the baby. Jail staff don't know how...
I'm making a shank to cut the umbilical cord.
I mean, honestly... How do you not notice this? No one just gives birth. Yeah. It takes a while, and it's painful, and she's probably making a lot of noise and stuff.
Right? You know, we watch some of those jail reality shows, Scott. There's a lot of yelling going on in there, so...
I guess. I don't know, man. Just feels like there ought to be, like... They're bad. These are bad guards, is all I'm saying. How do you not notice this? You know what it is? Because I just watched that Jeffrey Epstein documentary on Netflix. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Don't ask me why I'm a glutton for punishment, but I watched it.
Yeah.
And there's no way. Oh, see, I'm not even conspiratorial, dude, but there are way too many coincidences with how he died, and also what the autopsy showed. Like, there's no way that dude killed himself. No freaking way. He had dirt on some really powerful people. I think at that level. Mm-hmm. Stuff can go down. I think he was. I really think he was.
Inside job.
He's like, oh wait, where are the guards? Oh, we didn't see. Well, okay, where's the video footage? Oh, the film. We can't find the film.
Yeah, the camera blinked off. There was an EMP that went off nearby.
Yeah. Oh, where's the cameras? Maybe
we accidentally bought this USB stick and it shut down all of our electronic surveillance.
Yeah, it was only $350. It was cheap. But then they're like, well, wait, where are the cameras? We'll just see if we can look at those. Oh, those are also broken suddenly. I don't know where those are broken. Like, that stuff, that convenient level of stuff, dude. It's one, I'm convinced of one of two scenarios. Okay. Either he had the resources and money and had a bunch of people paid off to make it convenient for him to kill himself.
Sure.
And nobody to stop him. Or, and also, by the way, the autopsy doesn't support that because the way he broke his neck is not consistent with somebody who hangs himself. But also, or the other option is somebody somewhere. I'm not going to say names because there's a list. There's a gigantic list of names. It could be any of them, and they're all billionaires.
Yeah.
Had it done. I could not believe that documentary. You guys should watch that documentary. He's also a complete and utter 100% greatest douchebag list of all time. He's a horrendous human being.
Yes.
So bad. All right. Anyway, where are we now? Oh, yeah. Check this out. Back to nature. Rarely heard narwhal vocalizations.
Okay.
Yeah, this is exciting.
Hey, Gene.
I love it. It's just like, yeah, we heard him talking, and they sound like that.
They sound like Paul Stanley. Weirdly enough, yeah.
Hey, Jane. So check this out. Rarely heard narwhal vocalizations. With the help of Inuit hunters, not Intuit software. Geophysicists recently recorded various calls, buzzes, clicks, and whistles of narwhals as they summered in the Greenland fjord.
He's pining.
Yeah.
Pining for the fjords.
Pining for the fjords. The recordings help scientists better understand the soundscape of Arctic glacial fjords and provide valuable insight into the behavior of these shy and mysterious creatures. And for those that don't know, narwhals are these ones with like the giant long horns. They're basically
the unicorn whales, basically.
Yeah, except the horns are so freaking long. Like imagine even a fake unicorns are fake, but imagine a unicorn if it was drawn with a narwhal horn, they'd barely be able to keep their head up.
Right, they'd keep stabbing all the other fake forest creatures.
I was trying to see if there was a sound clip. They don't have.
Oh no, really? Like they have this article about recently heard or rarely heard narwhal vocalizations, and they don't provide audio.
Yeah, it just says the recordings help researchers do a baseline.
Here it is. I'll click the link. Hot Pockets.
It's like, oh, they're like us. It says there's so much crackling due to ice fracturing, bubbling, melting out, they say in the recordings. It seems we are dealing with animals living in one of the most noisy environments without having much trouble with that. Anyway, I thought a nice little science segment would be nice.
That's really cool, yeah.
Narwhals. Catch them. Are only the males with the horns or the females with the horns and the males don't, or one or the other? Because the picture I'm seeing is I guess they're monogamous. And so they got, here, chat, you guys can see this. This narwhal here is hanging out with another narwhal, and I can't tell which one's the male, which one's the female, but I'll bet I'm wrong. The assumption would be the male's the one with the big nose because they're dominant or something, but...
The big nose.
Maybe. Or...
Big nose!
I know it's a tooth. I know that, but it looks like a horn lemonade.
We've been corrected on that before. We know it's a tooth.
We know it's a tooth. Yeah. I mean, what are you, the narwhal?
You can't handle the tooth.
You can't handle the truth about the tooth. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk to a couple of good pals of ours, including Bill Durant and Justin Robert Young. Before that, though, a little bit of a break, some music for us. What do you got, Brian, for us today?
Yes. Boy, if you feel like we just didn't have enough funk or smooth funk recently on the show, and I'm trying to...
I did 11 loads of your laundry because your room looked like someone was looking for crack.
The morning.
Whoops. Excuse me. Sorry. Excuse me.
The morning stream. I will feast on your soul.
Jeez, pardon my dust today with the sound issues. What the frickin' crap was that? All right, it's all good. Well, that was a light breezy thing to hear.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Some light summer fun for you.
Sure. It is warming up. It was like 95 yesterday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's warmer than maybe warmer than you'd like, you know?
Maybe warmer than you. And you're a person who likes being out in heat, so
I do actually. Dry heat. Don't want the wet heat.
dry heat. Well, yeah, that's what I mean. You like being out and that sort of thing. I don't care that much for that.
Yeah.
I like, if I'm going to go on a bike ride, 70s, high 60s, ideal.
One of my favorite things in the world is middle of the summer, like July, August, worst possible heat time in Vegas. And to be on the strip where it's even 10 degrees hotter because the buildings are amplifying all the light and everything.
Right, they're just reflecting it down onto the strip.
Yep, so you're just burning up down there. But then there's this, so I like that part of it and I don't mind it. But then I'll get to like the Cosmo or something and go in. There's nothing like that air conditioning hitting you. It is amazing.
Yeah.
It's like,
oh, it's so good. Yeah, Barry Folk and I are talking about just doing a weekend, couple days, just go there and see what Vegas is like right now after the restrictions lifted enough for the hotels to open, just to see what it's like.
Yeah. Do you have any word on when? Are they open now, or how is it?
They're open. They open Friday, June 4th. So what is it? Thursday. They open Thursday. So
well, I wouldn't go now because they had a giant march yesterday. They had a
yeah,
huge
but they
protest.
marched down the strip. I would think that they probably marched downtown where the.
I don't know. It looked like they were on the outside of the. Well, it was hard for me to tell from the angle, but it looked like it was on the southern end of the strip, or the new end of the strip, newer end, and they were like Bellagio-ish, and then I could kind of see the pyramid from there. So I think they were all over the place. I'm not sure. I think they were all over.
All
the
right.
place.
Well, they better not. Deface.
Yeah, listen. Listen, you guys protesting. Don't F up Brian's trip to Vegas.
Exactly. Well, yeah, just don't mess up my hotels. Come on. Stop it.
Stop what you're doing. All right.
We were gonna protest on the other side of the street, but the escalators aren't working today, so we're just gonna stay here in front of the Flamingo.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, look at that. Yeah.
There was a big one last night.
That is definitely on the strip.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, what better place to do it, right? Like totally the strip would be the place to do it because you're gonna make the most noise.
I mean, if I was going to protest in Las Vegas, I would do it on the strip.
Yeah.
It's nowhere near the city and county building.
Yeah, they're not going to do it.
Clark County.
They're not going to do that Jack in the Box where I saw the drug dealer. They're not going to do that.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, listen to that. It sounded like a cat. Hey, listen to this.
Your bat cave's open there, Bill.
It's Bill Durant with a cat. What's going on with the cat?
Willow just stormed the desk.
Oh, no.
To let me know. I don't know what's up. But she literally ran right over to the microphone to say hi, I think.
Wow. That's awesome.
That's nice.
You've always had a nice connection to your cats. I think that's great. Nothing wrong with that.
Oh, especially lately. Tell you what.
No kidding. Boy, Seattle was a little bit of a mess last night. Hope you guys are all right and everyone's good. Seemed to be one of the hotter spots of the messy mess yesterday. But it's Bill Durant. He's here from said area, and he is going to join us and talk about the world of making things. So, Bill, what's going on this week? What are you doing?
Oh, I haven't made a damn thing.
Yeah.
I've taken some pictures of hummingbirds. That's about it.
Nice. How's that going, by the way? You talked about it a little bit last time, but I'm curious if you've caught any more amazing moments with your.
I don't think I'm gonna win any Pulitzer prizes with what I've got so far, but I'll keep trying.
All right, keep at it.
Yeah,
I like to hear about that. What do you want to talk about this week then?
So today I would like to talk about a very specific group of makers and a very specific maker. I want to talk about a Black inventor today. Right?
Okay.
And also, by the way, everyone, happy Pride Month.
Oh yeah,
and
that started
today
or yesterday. Yeah. Does it start yesterday? I don't even know.
It started yesterday.
Okay. All right.
And I'm looking forward to when I can share more about LGBTQ plus makers as well. But today I'm going with a Black inventor because it seems like the best message to send.
Sounds great.
So, first of all, if you look up a list, and I recommend this, look up a list of Black inventors, and you'll suddenly see sure are an awful lot of them, more than just Eli Whitney, and they've made an awful lot of really useful stuff that we all still use today. And a specific example is a man named Garrett Morgan. Dude was from, where was he? Kentucky. And he was born in the late 1800s.
Real quick before we get slaughtered by a million emails, Eli Whitney was not black. I just want to put it out there.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
just to get it out there. Forgot to look up Eli Whitney, and I am the absolute worst at research.
Just so everyone knows. Much. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure we cleared that up before I got too far. All right, go ahead. Sorry, continue.
Thank you. Anyway. Garrett Morgan, the actual American black inventor I want to talk about, was a businessman and entrepreneur, community leader. Great dude, lived to be 86. He died in the 60s, which is awesome. Yeah. I mean, not awesome he died. Awesome he made it that long, though. Good for him. Right. But a couple of things he worked on that were really, really great, and a lot of us are probably happy are around. Before his change to traffic lights, there were only 2 lights. There was just stop and go. And he was the guy that was like, hey, we should have a slow down light. And they added the yellow light. And I think that's kind of important to remember for everyone when you're running that yellow light. And maybe it's an orange light by the time you got through. I think it's important to remember.
It's the Starman go very fast.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So Garrett Morgan, a black inventor, is responsible for that. But probably the more notable thing he's responsible for was something that was called a smoke hood, which was a thing that firefighters would use to prevent smoke inhalation. This was in the early 1900s. The smoke hood is the predecessor to the gas mask. So when you see a line of cops with gas masks on out there with all the protesters, just remember that a black man was responsible for inventing that too.
They call them smoke masks. What did they call them that for? Was it to stop, like if you worked in something that had a lot of smoke or, like, I don't know, exhaust or whatever, you'd use that to block it? Or how did those work? I mean, you may not look that deep. I don't know.
Yeah, so if you look at the Wikipedia article, there's a whole part on the smoke hood. It's a lot to read and go through, but basically it was some sort of wet sponge filter and a hood to keep the smoke out where they could, I guess, that would prevent people from inhaling smoke in a burning building for, I guess, long enough to help people. And that eventually was iterated on until it became something more akin to the modern gas mask. It was used in World War I. And again, you could go read the Wikipedia page and dive deeper, and I recommend you do. But I really think it's just important to remember who invented those things when we see so many people using them. And it's worth reading about.
Yeah, I like that sort of thing. DT&S did a really cool thing yesterday, Tom Merritt in his tech show. He basically just handed the keys over to a handful of black creators that are various content creators of various types that do YouTube channels and podcasting and other things. And they just did an entire episode of their point of view during all of this. It's basically just let them have the microphone and let them talk and take a day off from regular DT&S stuff. And I thought that was really cool of them to do that.
That is awesome.
Yeah. And anyway, if you haven't heard it, it's absolutely worth your time to go listen to. They did a bang up job on that. We'll probably talk about that again tomorrow.
Awesome. It's almost like that Tom Merritt guy is one of the best human beings on planet Earth.
Yeah, he's a pretty good dude. He's a pretty good dude, that guy.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's all I had for you guys today.
No worries. Any bonus links or anything today?
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is a recommendation. It's really a recommendation for people who look like me and are like me, who haven't spoken up yet about Black Lives Matter for whatever reason, because I haven't spoken up until this week. And I'm ashamed that it took an internet video to get me to do that, but I'm here now and I'm talking about it. And if you haven't, or anyone listening and you look like me and you haven't spoken up yet, I recommend it because I feel better already. Already taking steps towards making the world a better place, and I can sleep better at night. So
yeah,
that's my recommendation. Go check it out. Look up the website, send them money if you can, tweet about it, and let all of the friends you know who don't look like you, but they look up to you, know that you support them.
I love that. Also, I'm not going to even mention the fact that you have a twin brother And so when you say things about people who look like you, I can't stop thinking about that you have a twin brother. I'm sorry, my brain works that way.
One very specific person that looks like you.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just throwing me off. Also, just a side note, I was watching a weird YouTube video the other day. By weird, I mean it was just like a fail video or something. And there was somebody filming it, and I swear, I got to find it now to send it to you. I swear to you, it was you talking. 100% sure it was Bill Durant talking. I know it wasn't because it was somewhere in like, I don't know, the Bahamas and some water skiing trip. Something I know that you have not taken that trip yet, as far as I know.
Okay.
But you, I swear this guy was you. I went to Kim. I said, does that sound like Bill Durant? She goes, oh my gosh, that's totally Bill. Like we were convinced it was you. And then I forgot about it and forgot to send it to you. And now I have to go find it again. So there you go.
Okay.
Fun side note for Bill. Bill Durant, everybody, punishedprops.com. You can find him on Twitter at Chinbeard. Bill, take it easy, be safe, and good work on this stuff. We'll talk to you soon.
Alrighty, later.
Bye now.
See you.
All right, off goes Bill.
Off goes Bill.
In comes jury. Hold on. There we go. All right, we're adding Justin Robert Young to the proceedings. He will bring his unique brand of coverage and discussion to the show. And I will now hit this.
These are their stories.
Oh, I'm terrible with names.
Justin Robert Young joining us from Oakland, California. Justin, welcome. How are you? How are you doing?
Oh, hello, friends.
Hello, friend.
You know, strange days.
Yeah.
Strange days.
Yeah. There was some... let's get the goofy thing out of the way real quick. You had a tiger supposedly walking around Oakland, but it turned out to be fake or something.
I know.
Do you want
No, they miscounted. Which I don't know if the Oakland Zoo's noticed. There's a lot going on these days. You know, a lot of times where you can miscount a tiger. You're really kind of counting on you guys, to kind of keep that count straight. Yeah. Use your fingers if you need to. Can't imagine there's that many tigers.
Wait, so the issue was that the Oakland Zoo miscounted and came up with a fewer number of tigers than they're supposed to have. I thought somebody said they saw a tiger walking around Oakland.
Well, maybe they heard the thing and then...
I think that was initially what it was, and then the Oakland Zoo miscounted it, and then...
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. And then they realized that they had miscounted. They didn't actually have a tiger on the loose amongst everything else that's happening.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, I was trying to think of something worse to add to a tense situation on a street with protesters and cops, and that would be, a full-blown tiger on the loose. That would have been bad. But I'm glad to hear that wasn't the case for both the tiger's sake and everyone else.
Oh no, I mean. Yeah, obviously, this is a it was a tense situation before an incident so vile that Rush Limbaugh said it was first degree murder happened.
Yeah.
Setting ablaze a series of riots and then expanding that, a series of protests that then extended into riots and looting.
Yeah.
That continues to now.
So what's weird to me is Saturday. I mean, I'm not going to try to sum all this up in some easy package because there's no such thing around this. It's just like there's too much nuance, too many angles, too much stuff. But it did seem like on Saturday there was a real there was so much anger and so much effort to, whatever your motivations, to break things and to burn things. And yesterday, and for that matter, the day before a little bit more, but yesterday, Sunday, was, even in the places where there were trouble spots, everything seemed much more an attempt to take back the peaceful part by these organizers. They were like, look, we weren't the ones throwing the bricks. We were trying to maintain calm. We were trying to do this peacefully. At least most of them. Again, I'm not trying to blanket everybody here, but yesterday, for most of the country, the big events that happen around various places. Why is that playing? Sorry. Around different cities seem to be a little bit better focused on this being a peaceful protest, That didn't in some cities stop cops from firing, weird stuff into weird places for no reason, pushing people around, tear gassing where it seemed like everything was 100% a peaceful protest, and then suddenly it wasn't. So I realized the mayhem still existed, but I guess my point is, do you think are we past that initial like fiery, I don't even know why I'm jumping in here to break this window, but I am phase, and maybe we can move into this more like everybody sort of take a knee, and then it really is just on the police and on the government and on the military to either escalate or de-escalate? Does any of that make sense the way I'm saying it?
No, but I don't think that there's a lot of sense, to be made of kind of what we see. Social media is a really bad lens often for a lot of things. I would see no reason why it's a bad lens for this. There's a lot of places for which looting has continued, protests have continued, and police. I don't know what it's like to handle a riot. Personally, I've never done it myself, but I can imagine that it's very difficult. But I can also imagine that, or I also know for a fact that there are certain standards for which we hold our law enforcement officers to. For example, last night in Oakland, there was a peaceful protest that was organized by a local high school, where a bunch of people walked downtown. Oakland had avoided a curfew all throughout the weekend. They got a curfew applied at about 4 p.m. for an 8 p.m. curfew. And at 7:30, the police shot gas canisters into the protesters.
Yeah.
So, like, I understand, but and I don't want to put any of these things in conflict with each other. I'm just going to say a bunch of things. I'm going to say things that I am more familiar with because they are happening around my neighborhood. Also, there has been consistent looting not only in downtown but also up through Auto Row and in East Oakland, where you have a lot of Vietnamese and Mexican-owned businesses that have been ransacked. So now that Oakland is a somewhat of a more of a focal point, it's got the national, or I don't know if it has a National Guard. It has a lot of the other police departments around. I don't know if there is much worth in looking at the totality of the chaos and trying to read from those flames the situation that you want, or to soothsay where it's going to go from here. So I would not feel comfortable saying, oh, this is the beginning or this is the end, or over a hump, because I think there's a lot of stuff that's going into here. What I do think is a clarifying message is what started all of this. And what started all of this is an example that, I heard it described yesterday, I thought eloquently, as a wick that ignited a powder keg. And part of what was in that powder keg is not only similar incidents of police brutality on video toward black men specifically, and women and children as well, but in this particular example, not only do we have a populace that is, suffering from flash unemployment at depression levels, that is looking at an uncertain economic future, but also it's long, it's indisputable, it's at multiple angles, and just because the simulation we're living in is at its most cruel, the act by which the man dies is the same pose for which a famous football protester became the topic of conversation for 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Like it is poetic in a sickening way that I think has resonated far and wide. And I do want to keep the focus on that. Although it is easy to have your eye drawn away when you are, I can't remember the last day that went by where I didn't hear helicopter sounds. There's all stuff all up on the Oakland subreddit about the California Highway Patrol's flight pattern, because they're literally just flying around the city to maintain cover of to see if there's fires and stuff like that.
Right.
I think that is another conversation, but the one that I kind of think is very important to focus on is the fact that there is a problem, and it's a problem that a segment of our population of Americans has consistently spoken about, and somewhere between omnipresent camera phones and the ability to bypass gatekeepers to spread the message that resonates the most with the public, we now know it far more, and this just happens to be that act was although the result not unique, the act itself was telegenically uniquely vile, I believe, to inspire a very beleaguered public into remarkable and at times terrifying action.
Yeah. Well, we're definitely, we're in it. I mean, I know naively I saw this coming and went, well, we never do that. We never have protests here for anything. Salt Lake City just sort of, sits around and chills out, and we don't really freak out. But the fact that we had, national news making issues on Saturday really was like a wake-up call for me. It was like, okay, maybe this time we're serious about the issues you just described. Maybe this time, it's anecdotal, but for me to be able to say my hometown, which is usually this quiet, polite place, if they're this pissed about that level of brutality, this particular death, all those before it that were, didn't get proper justice, the fact that that's happening here was just kind of a shock to my system, and to make it even more visceral, having a daughter who lives in an apartment on the block where all the cars are being flipped and set on fire was harrowing in a personal way, and had to do what we could do to get her home, so that she was, sort of out of harm's way at the time. She's back there today, just so everybody knows. A lot of people are asking about that, so she's back down there today. She's also a huge supporter of this stuff and would normally be somebody who would like to march. The nice thing about yesterday was this city came together in a way that was a little heartening in all of this. It's hard to find much heartening right now, but there was a big protest. There were thousands of people there last night again. They were pushing up against curfew. The cops were there. We had some mobilized military and National Guard and all that. And it looked like it could have gone real south when they got up to the Capitol, but instead they said, all right, we've marched tonight. We'll do it again tomorrow. We're going to disperse now. Thanks to the police for not escalating this, and turned around, told his people to go home, and they all went home. And so everybody went home, and they're planning on another big one tonight. And that, to me, is the process where you're not killing each other. You're not hurting each other. You're not causing additional damage across the board. You are just getting your message out there. And on the cop side, it was nice to see at least some representation of restraint, and not a desire to just dive in and clamp down and all that. So, we're not a city known for our racial tensions. We don't have, I think we have, like, if you did I think the percentage thing is like 2% of all of Utah is black. Like, it's tiny. We're a predominantly white community. But again, that sort of just feeds into what I'm saying. It's like, if this can happen here, and to get that powder keggy, especially on Saturday, I just realized, oh wow, yeah, this is big and real. So I guess all we can do is speculate. But if, let's say, we stayed completely on message about what it's about, who it's for, and what we can do to help it, does this feel like a turning point to you?
The point that I heard that I did think was interesting is that you are getting marches, sustained protests, and even some of the byproducts of that in looting and rioting in places like Salt Lake City. I don't know what the Salt Lake City demonstration was for Ferguson, right? But
virtually nothing, as far as I know. There may have been a little bit at the Capitol, but nothing big, not like this.
So I mean, that's. I think if there's one thing that is very clear, it is that there needs to be a change to the status quo at the very least. I mean, look, I am of the belief that everything comes from somewhere. It has been my goal with this coronavirus stuff to look back, and my fascination, the content that I have created on politics, has largely been focused around how a pandemic's affected America in the past. What did we do about them? What didn't we do about them? How did it reverberate politically? And so I've looked a lot at 1957 and 1968. But I would be ignorant, if that is my stated goal, to not then, when we have situations like this, acknowledge and understand that we have had a problem of out and out of racism within police departments. We have had, systemic racism is something that happens. And I want to be clear about what I say when I say that. When I say systemic racism, I mean that the longer we go, if you are in a system for which there was decisions based on race made, yes, the sands of time can erode and soften edges, but there are elements, decisions that long forgotten that still affect us today that will remain. Now, does that mean that everybody that has come past it is secretly cutting out the eye holes in their clan hood? No, I don't think so. But I do think that there are elements that we can understand for which to better ourselves. That is, if there is one, to me, the promise of America is not that we are at our goals. It's that we strive to and can be. That when people discuss American exceptionalism, to me, that's what it means. It means that we are this nation's self-loathing complex is something that I do believe motivates it to go forward. But we are talking not about self-loathing. We are talking about self-destruction. And that's what we are looking at on display with George Floyd. That's what we are looking at on display in terms of the collective pain, I think, of America that is out there. And I do think that there are elements that there are changes that we can make, specifically in terms of how we think of our police department and the role that they play in the community, that is coming to a head. It is coming to a head right now. We are watching it at play because, at this point, that act was so well documented and so uniquely, and again, I underline, borderline comically vile in terms of the fact that it rhymes with this Colin Kaepernick protest, that there's no way that you can ignore it, and the reaction, I believe, belays that.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think I have anything to add, although I would ask you, just from a personal standpoint, I assume this makes what you do and cover harder. Like, just from a like process standpoint, how hard is it to be the guy that's like, all right, I got to put up a politics show today when all this is going on? I mean, I know it's challenging for us, even just here on the morning stream, from the point of view that we're here mostly to be fun and funny. Like, that's our job.
To find comedy and stuff, and
yeah,
a whole big section of stuff that We can't find any kind. There isn't any
There's
comedy.
nothing-
Oh no, yeah, no.
there's
This is
nothing
normally
funny.
this is my comedy guest spot before I do 5 hours of comedy content today.
Right.
So
Right. So I'm just curious. How does that?
I understand.
Yeah.
I'm worried more about the comedy stuff than the politics stuff. The
Yeah.
politics stuff I can always rely on history.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I can provide historical context, and I can look back at other times and what happened and goals that were asked for and goals that were achieved. I think I can educate on politics. Comedy's harder.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, and I have not spoken up a lot on social media, mostly because I don't feel like I am at a lack for platforms for people to know my opinions. I am not going to stop giving my opinions, and indeed I will give my opinions on the issues of the day. If I am going to do it, I would prefer to do it in a thing where I can use my own words and I don't have to write within 280 characters in a medium for which people can read it in whatever tone of voice that is in their head. And not to say that I think that they will willfully misinterpret things, but just that this is a crazy world right now.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and there's a lot of pain and there's a lot of chaos going on, and if there's one thing that I feel is important is if I'm going to speak on stuff, then I do kind of want to be clear for me. I want to be clear so I don't pollute the conversation. And if I'm going to screw up, I at least want it to be in my own tone of voice. And I think that to me at least is the most hard part about the comedy thing, is that all comedy is subjective, and we're in such varied moods, obviously, that the one person that says, I think reasonably, hey, all I do is focus on this. The one thing that I like is the morning stream or night attack to make me laugh. It really would matter more than ever to have it now.
Mm.
The laughter that we can cause for that person that might be of purest intentions can sound like mockery to other people.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Right.
and from the creator's point of view, that's hard.
Yeah, it
you
is
know,
hard.
because you kind of have to anticipate both. But then what's the opposite side of it? Thankfully, this segment, you know, has a history of a kind of more serious bent. But you know, thank God yesterday Rush Limbaugh went on the Breakfast Club. It gave me something to talk about. You know, that I could dissect this that was very relevant and moving things forward. You know, and joke about how uncomfortable Rush Limbaugh sounded.
Yeah.
But other than that, like, it's just hard.
Well, yeah, it is hard. I mean, it's even hard to like. I try to see this. I don't know. It's just hard. It's just hard. We have an insular kind of situation here on TMS where, you know, a lot of our fun is being had with the community in a way that's very knowing. Like we're kind of, it's more like friends hanging out and talking about stuff that we like or that makes us laugh. It's not commentary on what's happening that makes us laugh. And so in a way we get a pass, you know, a slightly easier way to slip in every day and do it, despite our own, you know, whatever our own feelings or emotions are at any given time. You know, the actual playground is sort of closed off from everything, and we can kind of have our fun inside of it. I don't know how you, like, I don't know what well, forget about the fact we're in a pandemic, but I don't know how stand-up works now. Like, what is stand-up comedy anymore? Like, where is it? Is it happening, or is it all just recorded already and we're just watching old stuff? Like, nobody's in crowds, so nobody's standing up and doing that. You don't have those voices that are sometimes really important. Sometimes that humor is important in breaking things down and making you understand where we're at as a society or whatever. And none of that stuff's really happening except on Zoom videos, and they don't work as well. It's just not the same. So I feel for those guys, you know? Like, I don't know. That stuff's weird. It's weird.
I mean, there's not a lot to laugh at.
No.
I mean, you can... There's the dark humor, that kind of the gallows humor that comes along with this sort of stuff. But yeah, you know, it's it's hard. We were talking yesterday about the curfews. You know, like I don't think I have been under a city or state curfew outside of a hurricane, and you were saying like probably not since your parents.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. No, since a home curfew as opposed to a
I haven't had one.
Mandated curfew.
I've never had. We were chatting on text last night. I've never had a curfew that wasn't my parents. So what a blessed existence to never have to deal with like a publicly mandated curfew before. But when it kicked in, like, I don't know, my kids at 19 through 20, whatever, they're all getting a very different view of the world at that age, like than I did. Like for me, it was all up. It's like, hey, I'm getting married soon. I'm going to get this job. Sweet. It's all, look at us living the life. Our first apartment. Awesome. We're going to save for a house. Like all that stuff was happening. And there, Carter was talking to me last night. She's like, this makes me not want to be in this world this way. I don't want to be around this. Like she's not having that experience. And man, did I take it for granted. I just did. And I just assumed that would be what my kids would get. They'll get to do it too. And in some ways they are, but they're also doing it from a very privileged position that I took for granted. I still take for granted. I don't know. It's just a lot of reassessing of my assumptions and my optimism. I still am optimistic for the future. I always am, but
it gets harder and harder.
It gets harder. Yeah, it gets harder to do it, or at the very least, it starts to get painted in different ways, and I see it differently. And that.
I remember us talking early on when Walking Dead was a thing that, I was like, oh man, this is what would happen if we had this kind of pandemic. We'd see these clusters of good people, but then we'd see a lot of clusters of bad people that the good people keep running into. And you're like, oh no, I think there's far more good than bad. And it's like, well, I'm only seeing bad right now, Scott.
Yeah. If you only watch Saturday, you might think everything everywhere was bad.
Yeah.
But you're also seeing like severe acts of kindness.
Yes.
And they don't have the loudest voice. And that sounds tripey to say it, but there's so much stuff out there that we're just not paying attention to because it doesn't get the headlines, it doesn't get the likes, it doesn't get the retweets. So I know that. And I'm trying to be mindful of that. But anyway.
I mean, I evergreen idea. Take some time off social media.
Yeah.
For sure.
Like there is a time and a place to understand the world around you. It's been an invaluable resource for me to understand kind of where stuff is going on in Oakland at any given time, to use to tap into that hive mind. But in general, it is not. It is just a lens to which to look into the world, right? And that lens can be distorted or cloudy in a way that might not be helpful if that's all you do is look into it. Beyond that, I do think that there is action to be taken. There is there is a brighter day beyond this, and again, everything is always connected. Like I don't think that we would be having the same kind of looting that we are having now if 40 million people were unemployed.
Right.
And they found that out 2 months ago. Right. Like that happened like a flash flood. Like we're just kind of totally folded in on ourselves when an old problem flared up on a level that it's kind of brought the country to its knees.
Yeah, I don't we don't know yet. I feel like I'm bracing for the data on what massive crowds with very poor social distancing standards is going to do to numbers. I'm really terrified about that because we were kind of getting there. Like we weren't the best, but we certainly weren't the worst, and we were kind of getting under control, and there was like a lot of restlessness and all that, but the job was the job of flattening that curve was kind of happening, and
then flattening it had happened. The question was reducing it.
Right. Were we reducing it or not? And we don't, and I don't even know if we'll ever really know if we were. I mean, maybe we will. Maybe we know where the trending was.
I mean, by all available numbers, we were. Like, we had flattened the curve, and it is currently still reducing in terms of cases and deaths.
Right.
We will see. We will see.
Yeah.
I mean, I know
in Denver they've got free COVID screenings for protesters set up at the Pepsi Center where the
that's good.
The Avalanche and the Nuggets play. You just have to drive up. I think we could even go there. Tim and I could go there and get free screenings and just, I don't think they're being like, all right, show me proof that you were protesting.
They should give you a free Pepsi at the Pepsi Center is what I'm saying.
They should.
So I guess my point is, like, when you have 3,000 people in a DC metro area all together at once like that, I just have to believe that cases spike from this sort of thing. I mean,
spreading from that for
it
sure.
Has to, right? Like, we're all kidding ourselves. We don't think there's some big number spike, and I'm terrified about that. I just hope it. I don't know. It just feels like it's. I realize this is all perfect storm stuff, and like you were saying, like this flash unemployment, and also middle of pandemic, and all the reasons that's bad, and other political factors, and everything sort of combined was enough to create the biggest uprising, societal uprising since the '60s. There's just no way that we didn't. That we I don't know. I don't want everyone to get so sick. That's it. That's all I'm saying. The other systems are now being overwhelmed. We don't need the hospital systems overwhelmed again, and I'm just nervous about that. So anyway, personal anxiety.
Because by the way, the worry about that was enough to shut off the economy that put the people out of work that are now looting. Right.
Right.
Right. Like this is its own. That America, we did it this time.
Mm-hmm.
We sure got ourselves up in a tree.
Yeah.
With nowhere to go, because at the end of the day, what is like, there's no solution to a problem that does not exacerbate another problem.
Yeah, exactly.
In the situation that we're at now.
Yeah.
We hope that there are elements of this disease that are, there's been reporting that it is far harder to communicate it to somebody else outside. So all these protests are by and large outside.
Mm-hmm.
That's good news. We will sure as hell put that idea to the test.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We will see as we go forward. If there's one thing I've learned about 2020 is, quickest way to make God laugh is announcing what you think's going to happen out loud.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. All right, Justin, I do think what you do on the political front and otherwise is valuable. Is there anything this week you want people to sidle on up to and listen to?
Oh, no. I can't.
I had a feeling, but I wanted to ask.
I'm doing my best. I mean, like, literally, if I emerge without everybody hating me, it'll be a miracle.
Well, we don't hate you, so you got two of us.
So you've always got us, chirps.
Yeah. It's still real to me, damn it. Is that
even the chat room? I was just looking into it, and it's like I could just see and this is probably my own paranoia, but I could just see the knives just like waiting, just like waiting for me to stumble on a word or accidentally quote something else, or just like, what do you mean? A thing I didn't mean to say, and. Add that to the addendum to the addendum to the addendum to the addendum of the list of things people are worried about right now, because it is a very unremarkable and unrelatable thing. But hopefully I have any kind of career by the end of the week.
Pretty trippy that it's only been a week since we talked last, and this was not a thing a week ago. Or I guess it was when the actual killing happened.
It was Monday.
Last so it had happened, but this complete blow up backlash hadn't quite kicked in yet. And what did we talk about? Like, what's Biden doing with the thing? Or I don't even remember now, because
I didn't remember. I mean, that's how days are going right now, right? With
Yeah.
Like, oh,
and
is
by
it-
the way,
is it
look,
actually
if you have
Tuesday?
something
Wow.
mean to say about me, go say it. Like, I'm not saying that you shouldn't say it. Like, again, I am expecting, and in fact, I am probably writing what you want to say in my own head. So,
yeah.
Well, okay, in that
it's
case.
fine. Yeah. No, it's fine. And again, it's it is what it is.
Yeah.
I'm fully expecting to screw up and ruin everything by the end of the week.
Well, I personally don't think you're capable of such things, and look forward to having you on every week.
Hang in there, Gerbs.
Yeah.
Man.
You're the bomb. We'll see you later, dude. Bye.
All right.
Justin R. Young on Twitter, everybody. If I didn't mention that, although it sounds like he's taking a bit of a break from the soch.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. All right, that's going to do it for today's show. Big thanks, everybody, for joining us. We knew that would be a fairly serious segment. Hope people got something out of it. I did. Patreon.com/TMS is how we are able to keep on the air. Big thanks to everybody. It's a new month. If you can and you're able, we always appreciate any support we get. You get lots of great benefits, ad-free version of the show every day with bonus content on the top and back. You also get cool art in the mail at certain levels. There's the TMS level, which gives you a custom curated tee every month. Lots of cool stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's really good. Go check it out, patreon.com/TMS. If you're looking for any other way of getting a hold of us or trying to track us down, we are at frogpants.com/TMS. We will now exit the building, but before we do, one more song from Brian Ibbett.
Yeah, and I'm guessing I should probably switch from playing that Gloomy Sunday cover that